this always meant, like, for some reason I always associated Harry Potter with the holidays. So I thought it would be kind of nice to do a little reading for you guys. So we're gonna start with the first chapter. That's my water. You can't have it. Alright. I think I need to check to make sure that I haven't made a video like this before. I think I may have. Okay, I'm gonna pause it. Alright, so tonight Eloise. Oh god. So, just so you guys know, the other day, my puppy went for a haircut, and as a reward, she got a Christmas pickle, and it's her new favorite toy. And now hold on. What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. So tonight I was going to do a reading of Harry Potter, and then also I'm holding the mic, so you'll get some mic sounds. I'm sorry, I can't remember what your username is, but someone in the comments suggested that I do a mic sounds video, which I think is a great idea, but I'm gonna save that for another time, especially because tonight my dog is not cooperating enough to make a good video with the camera sounds, or with the mic sounds. So this is my water. Your water's in there. Your water's in there. Go in there. That's where your water is. Leave my water alone. So tonight what I was gonna do was a little reading for you. I was gonna read chapter 1 of Harry Potter, but given the nature of my dog's situation, I'm not sure if she's going to let me. If she doesn't let me, I thought that we could just hang out a little bit, and I could talk to you guys while she's playing with her toys and making random crinkly sounds in the back. So but we're gonna try to read a little bit, because I thought that well, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, whenever the holidays arrive, Harry Potter is kind of one of my usually read them again necessarily. I just like I go through and kind of read little bits and pieces because there's a lot in the books that you don't remember from, you know, watching the movies, and if you've only read them once or twice, then you don't really know as much about them. So I figured that I could bring you guys along. Do not bite my book, and read the first Harry Potter, or at least, you know, like the first chapter of Harry Potter. Stay away from the guinea pig. Stay away from Flo. She's in a wacky mood tonight. Oh wow. She just got a haircut the other day, and so she also got a new toy, and it's a dill pickle wearing a Santa hat. Yeah, it's really great. Anyway, so why don't we go ahead? Leave it alone. Hey. I wish I could show you guys what she looks like right now, because her front legs are down and her back legs are in the air. What? What? No. Are you sucking on my thumb? It's not a toy. It's not a toy. No. And now she's licking it. Listen. You can. Did you eat your treat? Or did you hide it? What are you doing? Are you pawing me? Why are you pawing me? Do you want to lie down in Mommy's lap while I read Harry Potter? We could do that, huh? I think we could do that. Alright, I'm gonna mute this for a second. Alright. Why don't you lie down, bud? Really? She's gonna like the microphone. Do you wanna like it? No, you don't wanna like it. You wanna like it? She doesn't really wanna like it. Yeah, you do. You wanna like it? What? Okay. I don't think we're gonna get much reading done. That's what she sounds like when she burps. Because sometimes she burps, but she doesn't really know how to burp, so she's a little funny when she does it. Okay, anyway. Let's do a little reading, shall we? And I just spilled water on these, so that was cool. Okay. So, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful, as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think that they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as un-Dursleyish as it was possible to be. The Dursleys shuddered to think what the neighbors would say if the Potters arrived in the street. The Dursleys knew that the Potters had a small son, too, but they had never seen him. This boy was another good reason for keeping the Potters away. They didn't want Dudley mixing with a child like that. When Mr. and Mrs. Dursley woke up on the dull gray Tuesday our story starts, there was nothing about the cloudy sky outside to suggest that strange and mysterious things would soon be happening all over the country. Mr. Dursley hummed as he picked out his most boring tie for work, and Mrs. Dursley gossiped away happily as she wrestled a screaming Dudley into his high chair. None of them noticed a large tawny owl flutter past the window. At 8:30, Mr. Dursley picked up his briefcase, pecked Mrs. Dursley on the cheek, and tried to kiss Dudley goodbye, but missed, because Dudley was now having a tantrum and throwing his cereal at the walls. "Little tyke," chortled Mr. Dursley as he left the house. He got into his car and backed out of number 4's drive. It was on the corner of the street that he noticed the first sign of something peculiar, a cat reading a map. For a second, Mr. Dursley didn't realize what he had seen. Then he jerked his head around to look again. There was a tabby cat standing on the corner of Privet Drive, but there wasn't a map in sight. What could he have been thinking of? It must have been a trick of the light. Mr. Dursley blinked and stared at the cat. It stared back. As Mr. Dursley drove around the corner and up the road, he watched the cat in his mirror. It was now reading the sign that said Privet Drive. No, looking at the sign. Cats couldn't read maps or signs. Mr. Dursley gave himself a little shake and put the cat out of his mind. As he drove toward town, he thought of nothing except a large order of drills he was hoping to get that day. But on the edge of town, drills were being driven out of his mind by something else. As he sat in the usual morning traffic jam, he couldn't help noticing that there seemed to be a lot of strangely dressed people about. People in cloaks. Mr. Dursley couldn't bear people who dressed in funny clothes, the get-ups you saw on young people. He supposed this was some stupid new fashion. He drummed his fingers on the steering wheel, and his eyes fell on a huddle of the weirdos standing quite close by. They were whispering excitedly together.